So, Mercy, there are some people making noise. Allow me to mute them. Like that. Good. So I hope you can hear me and everything is okay. Diluted earnings per share. That is where we're supposed to start from. Diluted EPS. So now, I want you to understand what diluted earnings per share is before even we start doing those computations. Hussein, I can see there you are putting on Arsenal. Congratulations. So now, yesterday we were calculating some EPS and we were finding, I don't know, 1.5, 1.6, 1.35 as earnings per share. So I have a question for you. You want to invest, then you have gone to the stock market, you have some money, it's a good amount. Good depends on your view, so I don't know how to justify the good, but you have some good amounts for investment purposes. Then your financial advisor has just told you that the best investment to undertake is to invest in stock, which is shares. You have also been convinced otherwise that investing in stock is the best option right now. When you go to the stock market, you find two entities. You find entity A and entity B. The broker will tell you, actually, one of the factors which will inform your decision should be the earnings per share. What do you get for every share invested? Then you request the broker to help you with the EPS, the current EPS of these two entities, because the brokers just told you that these two entities are now the best in the market for investment purposes. Then you realize that for the last financial period, A reported EPS of 8.9 per share, B reported 6.8 per share. As an investor, which entity will you take your money? As a normal investor, where will you take your money? Usifikiria, hakuna kitu kufikiria sana. Just the one which you are seeing. You have money you want to invest. Mercy. Yes, Mercy and associates. Everyone will desire to invest in A. I don't know why Rose is going for B, or you're just trying to differentiate yourself from others. Unless you can give me justification. So everyone will want to invest in an entity which is reporting favorable earnings per share. I don't dispute that. However, basic EPS Actually, when making investment decision, more so in stock, EPS is always a good factor to determine whether to invest or not. And some brokers will try to hide it out, but you can request. When you request, they will have to provide the earnings per share. You can even request for the last 3 financial periods so that you can check the trend. So if A is reporting this, everyone will run to invest in this company. Very dangerous, very dangerous. Investment decision based on earnings per share. No, saying don't worry, whether I'm seeing you or not, don't worry, it's okay. It's not a crime for me to see you. Hussein is asking, are you still seeing my clothes? Hussein, there is no problem, there's no problem. So I'm saying it is very dangerous for you to just to make your decision based on the basic EPS. Something might be hidden behind the curtains. These people are reporting EPS of 8.9, with you not knowing that these people entered into contracts with some third parties. They are given out bonds or debentures or loan notes. So they are given out debentures which are convertible. They are given out preference which are convertible. They are given out options to employees. You know, the word convertible means it is a contract which will entitle the holder to take up some ordinary shares of the company. So maybe they entered into a contract of 2-3 years. That we are in 2022, sorry, we are in 2023, but on 1st of January 2026, you will convert your debt into equity. You will convert your preference into equity. Employees being promised that if you work for this company for the next 10 years, we will give you some equity shares in the company. You know what happens when you convert any security into ordinary shares? Check how we calculate shares. EPS, I mean. EPS is calculated by considering the profit divided by the weighted average number of ordinary shares. So when you convert these securities into shares, it means that ones will go up with or without a slight increase in powers. So when they convert, there is likelihood that EPS will drop. It will drop, and it's automatically it will drop when they convert, because you will be increasing the denominator without any increase in the profit, or as very slight increase in profits. So that decrease, the decrease in EPS, is what we call diluted earnings per share. So you may find when you are in the stock market, and I want you to take it at face value, just like an investor. When you're in the stock market, this person is giving you this tool. In fact, in the first place, they will not provide. They will just tell you, wait, let me tell you. Like, allow me not to mention, but I know there is one company here in Kenya, which people have been, I don't know which, let me not use a very bad word. The people have been made to, yeah, that will be better. Have been made to believe that it is the best in terms of investments, stock investment. While in reality, there are some entities which are better compared to those others. So they will just tell you, company A is better because they reported this. No, they will tell you it is better. So it is you to ask, what was their earnings per share? When you ask the earnings per share, these people will hide what we call diluted. They will give you the basic. Then when they give you the basic, it is your duty again to tell this person, fine, A seems to be favorable. However, have they given out any potential ordinary shares? Potential ordinary shares are those securities which can be, or not can, will be converted into ordinary shares. So what makes them potential is this one convertible. So if the broker says yes, they have given some securities into the market, you tell the broker, kindly work for me on what if analysis. What if we know right now these people have not joined, hawajakuja bado, but what if they will come? What will, assuming they come today, what will be the impact on EPS? So you find that B has not issued, they don't have any convertible securities, but company A had given out some convertible securities. So if you work on what if assumption, what if they join, what will happen to earnings, and what will be the resultant on EPS? You may find this one dropping even up to 3.1. So if these people join and EPS can drop to 3.1, I better invest in B, which there is no convertible, there is no potential which can be converted. A practical scenario, which I always use, but without fear because the truth, the best scenario here was Everready. Everready was performing very well. I think I knew Everready in those days of 96, 97, 98, thereabouts. Everready was very serious in the market. In fact, it was the bet which people knew. And if you read the history well, so many people invested in Everready, including prominent people in the Kenyan government and even outside. What was driving people to invest was because Everready was reporting very favorable basic earnings per share. The information which was not being relayed is that Everready had some convertible securities. There are some shares which they had, these ones here, which were convertible. You give us money, we tell you we will be trading, then after 12 years, you will be one of us. You will get equity shares. So when these people started tripling in, and of which right now there is a company I know which is reporting very favorable basic EPS, but they have given out stock options. Options will give employees privilege to take up some shares at an agreed period, shares of the company. So right now, employees are just employees. But after the agreed period, these people will now be ordinary shareholders. When they become ordinary shareholders, my friends, you don't have any option but they become entitled to the earnings of the company. So you'll find shares going up, profit remaining stagnant or with a small increase, EPS will drop. That is how people now started to withdraw their shares from Everready hivyo. Some people know the story. Mpaka sasa ikakuja sahi hata some people don't know even much about it. So what I want you to know and appreciate, when we are calculating diluted earnings per share, we are not going to work with the realities. We are going to work with assumptions. So here you assume you are the investor, that this is the basic. Yes. Okay, fine. What if? No, this is the basic. Yes. Did they issue potentials to the market? And the potentials I want you to have always are these three: convertible debentures, convertible preference, and options. Kuna mtu ni kama ameshindwa kuingia class, just a minute. That is sorted. Good. I've got it out there. So there is a mistake I want to clear at this early stage. Kuna watu wao wakishaona tu debentures and preference in the exam wanasema ndio hawa potential. No. It only becomes potential if it has this clause: convertible debentures, convertible preference. So you can go to a question, then you just find the debentures. They just say there were debentures worth this. If the debenture is lacking the prefix, you call it prefix, yes. If it lacks a prefix, convertible, prefix convertible, then it is not potential. So it only becomes potential, and it should only be considered for diluted EPS computation if it has this clause, convertible. The only one which should not have the word convertible is this one here, options. Otherwise, these two, for you to consider them to be potential, they must have this, we call them prefix. So allow me to do a small introduction there, small introduction, then to kanyage swali. So right there, say, EPS is said to be diluted. EPS is said to be diluted. Is said to be diluted. EPS is said to be diluted when the potential ordinary shares, when the potential ordinary shares have been, when the potential ordinary shares have been, or are to be, have been, or are to be converted, have been, or are to be converted into ordinary shares. Have been, or are to be converted into ordinary shares. Have been, or are to be converted into ordinary shares. Full stop. They include, so write this one. They include convertible debts. I think I put debts because the debenture will be restrictive. It can be convertible bonds, debentures, loan notes. So just write debts. All of them are debts. Convertible debts, convertible preference, and options. Options are privileged to employees to take some shares of the company. So here still as the word convertible. Once you have options, it is automatic. Correct. Steps. A couple of steps for determining diluted EPS. Steps for determining diluted earnings per share. Steps for determining diluted earnings per share. Steps for determining diluted EPS. So steps number one. Step number one, determine the basic EPS. You cannot determine diluted if you don't have basic. All the roads must start from the basic. Because what are you going to dilute? You are going to dilute the basic. All right. Number two, identify the potential ordinary shares. So that is your step number two. So in that question, once you have been told to calculate diluted. First, before we take our legs, or let's say before you take your legs, before we take our legs to DPS, one, we must get the basic. Then step two, you check which are the potential. Of those three, sometimes all of them are present. Sometimes maybe even two or one. So you check which are the potential, which are there. Then step number three, you rank the potential ordinary shares. Rank the potential ordinary shares based on their effects. on their effects. Based on their effect, on the effect on earnings per share. Then finally, calculate DEPS, diluted earnings per share. Calculate diluted earnings per share based on the ranks in step 3 above. The ranks in step 3 above. Full stop. How that? But write for me down there. Important notes. Important notes. There are some notes which can sometimes bring us a lot of problems in a question, and I need to clear with them right now. Note number 1, DPS is determined from the profits on continuing operations only. Very important. Determined from the profit on continuing operations only. Basic EPS is based on the profits from both continuing and discontinued operations. How about Have that. Then we go to number 2. Good. Number 2. All right, let's go to number 2. I'll explain them. Number 2, dividends paid to redeemable preference. Dividends paid to redeemable preference should be accounted for as finance cost. Very important. Very, very important. Number 3, once a share split or reverse split has taken place, once a share split or reverse split has taken place, any subsequent issue must be splitted. Those are the notes I wanted you to have. No, must just write all of them. I'm going to explain the 3. No worries. I'm going to explain all the 3. Bus. My students are ready. Now, number one, we say, we normally have what is called continuing and discontinued. Discontinued is that disposal of the subsidiary. When you dispose a subsidiary, you can remember when you were doing consolidation here, P&L, we were portioning 3/12, 9/12, up to the date of discontinuation. So some people, they may want to pull up the market. They have realized that as a group, let's say we have a parent and a subsidiary, just one subsidiary. Parent has realized subsidiary made serious losses, and EPS should be based on the consolidated books. So when the parent has watched the trend, before the end of the year, they can sell that subsidiary, because that loss, when you aggregate with the profit of the parent, it will make the profit to go down. You report less profit, EPS goes down. Investors are scared. So what a company can do, once they project that there is going to be a drop in EPS, they dispose of that subsidiary. Then now they say, that one we sold, we are just using the profit of what is remaining. For basic EPS, no, that is not allowed. You will bring the profit from both what you have discontinued and the ones which are continuing. You add the two. But discontinued, you bring their profit or loss up to the date of discontinuation. So you prorate up to that date, then you aggregate with the continuing. But diluted, diluted is based, actually we are going to work on most assumptions. What if they will convert? So what if is futuristic. We cannot come here and start bringing discontinued. Discontinued, that is gone. Diluted is future. So for diluted, you only go with the continuing. So there's a scenario where examiner is going to give you the profit on discontinued operations, continuing and all that. Basic, add the two. Diluted, use continuing only. That is the best I can explain that. Number two, dividends paid to redeemable preference shares should be accounted for as finance costs. That is not only here, but in any accounting. That is what applies. We have what we call redeemable and irredeemable or non-redeemable. Redeemable, they are those preference shareholders who normally they give us money in form of capital. But what is the meaning of redeem? To redeem means to get back. So they give us money to operate, but within 5, 6, 7 years, they want to take back their capital. That is the meaning of the redemption. They buy back, they take back their share capital. So in accounting, redeemable preference is not even treated as part of equity. It is treated as part of non-current liabilities. Treated as part of non-current liabilities. Therefore, any dividend we pay them is not treated in quotes, not treated as dividends per se. It's treated as cost of finance. It's a loan. Actually, it's always a loan. Because why do you tell us you're giving us capital, then after 5 years, it means you're just giving us a loan. So redeemable in accounting is always treated more or less of a loan. And therefore, any dividend we pay them, dividend we pay redeemable, should go to finance costs. Irredeemable are those preference who are there forever. In finance, until perpetuity. They are there forever. They are more or less of ordinary. They are there as long as the company exists. So the dividends we pay irredeemable is the one we normally treat as dividends. But these ones we treat as finance costs. So in case, I was just being cautious, in case the examiner tells you about redeemable preference or kwame at 10% redeemable, that is finance cost. So it will affect during your computation of PAUS, profit attributable to ordinary, we normally subtract preference dividends. If the dividends were going to redeemable, don't subtract them as dividends to preference. This one is treated as finance costs. It's just cost of financing Hii kitu ni loan, inakuanga loan by the way. And in accounting, they are normally treated as part of non-current liabilities. They don't go to equity because of short-term financing. It doesn't go to equity. So my concern here is that we don't subtract them in order to get what is attributable to ordinary. Usitoe hapo ati preference dividends, hapana. Don't subtract them there. Haya. In most questions, the examiner will be silent and compare to preference shares without saying what type. They just say preference, then they keep quiet. In the event that the examiner has not said which kind of preference, then we normally assume they are irredeemable, the ones which are there forever. So this one you only treat it if it is mentioned. Otherwise, if the examiner does not specify the form of preference, then we always assume they are irredeemable, those which are there for lifetime, and therefore we calculate dividends on them. So Marcy, I hope you have understood my concern. Here, once you split shares, anything you will issue again must be splitted. Because you know when you split, it means the value, let's say initially the value was 10, then you split them into 2 to become 5. It means anything you are going to issue after this must have a par value of 5. So if you issue for 10, that 10 must be splitted. Because with the capital structure, we cannot have shares, some are having shillings 5, some 10. No, there must be uniformity. So once a share split or a reverse split has taken place, any subsequent issue of shares must match the new par value. That is the meaning. Allow me to get them in the questions. Get out your past papers. Get out your past papers. And let's meet in September 2021. Let's meet in September 2021. Let's meet in September 2021, honorable members. September, where are you? I'm there. Question 2A. I'm there as well. Correct. That is page number 42. Go through the entire question. Go through the entire question. Yes, go through the entire question. Be there. Read the question alone. I'm joining you. Go through the question pole. September purity. This is September. Yeah, it is September purity. Page 42. It is September. Elijah has confirmed. It is September. Oh, we need to make December. Pole. Umeanza kufikiria Christmas mapema. It is perfect. I hope you have gone through the question. Allow me to join. It says, the following capital structure relates to Sherla Limited as at 31st December 2020. So we have ordinary shares of shillings 10, 10% cumulative preference shares, 12% convertible loan notes, profit after tax for the year. Sawa. On 1st February 2020, so ngoja kidogo. The following capital structure relates to Sherla as at 31st. So the year is ending on 31st, meaning it starts, but the EPS dates, just like group, date is very essential. So on 1st February 2020, the company issued 1.5 million ordinary shares at full market price. So, on 30th June 2020, the company made a rights issue, I knew, of 1 ordinary share for every 4 shares held on that date. The exercise price was shillings 36 per share, and the market price on the last quotation was 48. That is the CAM right. That one for the last quotation is the CAM right. The convertible loan notes were issued in the year 2018, even before this year. 10 convertible loan notes are convertible into 1 new ordinary shares. So if you want to convert your loan notes into ordinary, if you have 10 loan notes, you will get 1 ordinary share. Number 4, on 1st October 2020, the employees of the company were granted share options to purchase 1 million ordinary shares at shillings 30 each. The average market price was 48 per share. As at 31st December 2020, none of the employees had exercised their options. Tax is 30% required. 1, basic earnings per share, EPS, for the year ended 31st December 2020, in conformity with IS 33 earnings per share. No problem. Roman 2, diluted earnings per share, EPS, for the year ended 31st December 2020, in conformity with IS 33 earnings per share. So let's start with basic. Basic EPS. So basic EPS will be powers divided by 1s. Like that. Always remember our formula. Powers divided by 1s. Correct? So let's start with the powers. Let's start with the powers. So powers, shillings are in thousands. Shillings are in thousands. So reported net profits after tax. Reported net profits after tax. They reported 171,200. Check in the schedule there. They reported 171,200. Then you left preference dividends. Preference dividends. This one you subtract because they never said it is redeemable. So you subtract. So it is going to be 10% times the value of preference was 40. So you multiply by 40. So 10% times 40, you get 4,000. So how much is the profit attributable to ordinary shareholders? Once you subtract preference, what remains goes to ordinary. How much? So people have given me 167, 200. Thank you. Thank you. So everyone to be there so that we go to, I want us to go to one all together. And please, as you revise, I normally see students, they are very much attentive and concerned when it comes to a FAD than when it comes to a LEM. I can tell you for a fact, without fear or favor of any unit, most students countrywide normally fail a LEM compared to a FAD. So kindly, my advice is just give these units equal times. They have equal weights. Kama LEM ingekuwa rahisi, singeweka huko section 1, why it is appearing here? Because it has the same weight as this one here. So some people wanasema ati, sisi ni managers. Theory, we are going to write. No, you have to practice. So kindly, just allocate sufficient. For those of us who are doing LM, advanced auditing, kindly just allocate equal time. Don't overlook those theories. I've seen someone frustrated with those theories until someone is almost giving up. So let's just balance them. Unless you want a word, but why should you get a word in one, then you fail the other one? Just get a par 60%, then just get a LM also 60. That is enough. Than getting a par 78, then a LM unapata 31. Now that one does not make sense. Just balance those two. Just balance the two. Then it will be okay. So don't give computation much time, FPAR and FM, much time, then you forget about the other unit. Other unit kali, kuna hiyo question 1 year 40 marks. Very easy. So give these give all these 3 units, not even 3, whichever units you are doing, please allocate them equal time. Treat them as when you level. Let's go to ONEOS. Let's go to ONEOS. So ONEOS, dates, details, shares, weights, ONEOS itself. So have that. That is the arrangement. That is the arrangement. Ukiulizwa hizo principles of management, kama ujui, utaandika nini? Utapata mtu na guess principle of integrity, principle of honesty, principle of, you have to read. Soma hiyo kitu kabisa. Mimi nataka watu wapite one touch. Sure. You speak those things at once. Malizana hii story. So have that arrangement. Have that arrangement. And off we start. So always start with the beginning of the year. And beginning of the year, always check the capital structure in a card before you go to the additional information. Unless there is no capital structure, then not one should talk of the beginning of the year. Yes, you are there katikati. So ukiona katikati, it means there's something you are leaving up there. Like this year is ending on 31st December. So you must check 1st of January, the way it is. So you come here and say 1st January 2020, balance brought down. So examiner yeye kwa capital structure yake anaandika vibaya. This one was supposed to be the following capital structure relates to Shell Limited as at 1st January 31st. So this capital structure was supposed to be the opening. So you will take 60,000 divided by 10, 0. Divide by 10 to get the number of shares. The number of shares. Then those were the opening. So you will weigh them for the whole year. 12 over 12. That is 6,000. Like that. So those were supposed to be the opening shares. I think alichimba kupata kizungu ya kutumia. Then we go to note 1. 1st February. Able to relax. See kitu serious. Just relax. Take it normally, casually. Hakuna kitu serious. Nile tu mnafanyanga every day pale kwa ofisi. So on 1st February, the company issued 1.5 ordinary shares at full market price. Those are new issue. So new issue, they issued new 1.5. So to the end of the year, from 1st February, I will weigh them for how many months? What is the weight? What over what? The weight. Weight will go for how many months? Yeah, correct. 11. Those are 11 months. 11 over 12. So 15 times 11 over 12 will be. Hiyo itakuwa ngapi? 11 is weird. 1375. 1375. Correct? Then, before I read note number 2, I don't say anything in regards to note 2. I want us to have a working outside, and I want you to attempt for me, based on what we did yesterday, and you have the right opportunity to check how we were calculating X rights price. I want you to calculate X rights price in note number 2, because whenever there's a rights issue, there is X rights price. So I want you to calculate for me the X rights price using that note 2. Then I will proceed. So can you calculate and tell me how much? If you are not sure, visit how we did it yesterday. What is the arrangement, Ivo? Because in a na tick. So kindly check. Once you have an answer, you can throw it for me. I'm waiting for the answers. Yes, we are in hurry, but understanding is the best. Hussein has given me 45.6. So Irene 45.6. Lucy 45.6. Mercy 45.6. Hiyo ndio answer. Kwani nyinyi wote mnaweza kuwa na answer mbaya? Impossible. They are giving on what basis? 1 new for every 4. The exercise is 36. So 1 new at 36. That is 36. Then 4 old at 48. So 4 held at 48. 4 by 48, 4 by 48, 192. So this is 5. This is 822. I hope 228. Therefore, 228 divided by 5, the average. This person, the value is 228 or 5, the average. The exercise is the average. So I hope, is this the one giving you 45.6? Just to confirm, is it the one giving you 45.6? Yes. So this is 45.6. You'll get a tick for that. So ukiona rights issue, please make sure you calculate the exercise price. All those stories, whatever now, where would you exercise price is always the average market price, but mostly before the rights issue. So you come here and say, on 30th June 2020, there was a rights issue. Rights issue on what basis? They said 1 for every 4. So 1 for every 4 held. You get 1 for every 4 you have, times the number of shares we have as we speak. As we speak now. How many shares are we having? Correct, Irene, 75. Irene, are you thinking ahead of me? 75. Because when you answer bio sana. So which is good. So we have 75, 6 plus 15 up to date. This plus this. So we have 75. So you get, I think it's not bad to think ahead of me. A quarter times 75. So this one gives us how many shares? 75 divided by 4. 1875. Don't bring it in this column. If you wish to, you can bring it somewhere, but not here. 1875. So 1875 are the shares which were given out as rights. You know, rights issue, we are giving at a price lower than the market price. But you see, even if it is lower, kuna ile inalipiwa. Hiyo kidogo yenye wamepeana italipwa. Then there is the bonus, ile wamepewa bure. Because kama market price iko pale, wao wanapewa. Like here, you see the market price that day was 48. Wao wakapewa at 36. So that discount is called bonus element. So we normally separate. Whenever you have a rights issue, you separate the two. First of all, rights issue has, I don't know, 3 phases or 4. Phase 1, determine the X rights price. You are going to see how it is applicable here. Determine the X rights price, that is 1. Then number 2, determine the shares which were given out as rights. So you take, they said 1 for 4 times the number of shares you have. We have gotten 1875. So this 1875, there are some which were paid for, and there are some which they gave, let me call them for free. The ones which were given as a discount. Because from the definition, rights issue is shares which are being given at a discount. So check the ones which were paid for and the ones which were not paid for. The ones not paid for, we treat them as bonus. So you separate the two. So you will come here and say, at market price, you will take those shares, this 1875, you multiply with the exercise price. They were given to exercise at what price? At 36. They were told to exercise at 36, this one here. They were told to exercise at 36. Then this 36, you divide by the average market price, which is 45.6, the one which you have just calculated, the price. So we normally take the exercise over the X price. So take those number of shares times the market price, divide by 45.6. Then tell me what you are getting. Unapata ngapi? 1480, Mercy. So this is 1480. But for how many months? 30th June to the end of the year. How many months are we considering? They issued them on 30th June. So how many months to the year end? Wait, Mercy. Usilete ishindwe kabisa. 6 months. Those are 6 over 12. 5 itakuja inaenda mpaka December. So you start counting from tomorrow, July. So gonga July mpaka December. Wewe unajua ukikuwa 12 minus 7. Basi usikosee hata kidogo. Those months are sensitive. So 30th June, so July to December. So once I hope you have seen what you have done. So 6/12 by this, people are getting 740. Very good. Then bonus. So these 1480 are the ones, these are the ones which were paid for. So the ones which were not paid for, we consider them to be the bonus, the discount. So bonus element, you take the total which was subjected. Irene is already giving 395. Total was 1875 minus the 1480. So you take this minus the ones which were paid for. So I hope is what I'm being given there. I'm asking 395. The rule is, just in case someone was not there in the ESTA class, bonus, we don't weigh them for time factor. So don't weigh the bonus. Bonus wanasemanga they are unconditional. Don't weigh. Even in company, we normally give people bonus, salary bonus, equivalent to your 1 month salary. So kama wewe employee alikuja September, useme wewe alikuja September kwa kupata hapana, sio September alilipwa full, October full, so December pia anapewa tu equivalent to the salary. You don't start prorating at alikuja sijui wewe hapana. Stop putting conditions on bonus. So bonus we don't weigh. Thank you. And I'm so happy up to that stage. Let's proceed. Proceeding where? I think that is all. Because, actually that is all. Because, read note number 3. The convertible loan notes were issued in 2018. 10 convertible loan notes are convertible into 1 new ordinary share. Convertible, not converted. Nobody has converted. So you only convert, if they converted, I will convert to increase the number of shares. But up to this stage, they just say are convertible. So nobody has converted their loan into shares. So don't tamper with it. Number 4. On 1st October 2020, the employees of the company were granted share options to purchase 1 million ordinary shares of shillings 30 each. The average market price was 48 per share. As at 31st of December 2020, none of the employees had exercised their options. We are sorry. They were given option to buy shares. By December, nobody had taken those shares. So it means there will be no effect on the ordinary. Question, we are done. So there is no need for me to add this. Addition will only help you if you want to translate to another year. It was 1 year off. So just add ones. Just add ones. People are getting 85/10. Therefore, down there, basic EPS will be, pause. How much was the pause? 19.65. Your pause ilikuwa ngapi? Tuangalie kama hiyo 19.65 is okay. What was our pause? Pause was 167,200 divided by Divide by 1 was 8510. Never pick out. So it gave me 19.65 per share. Confirmation of the same? Yeah, 0.65. Yeah, that is it. So that is how we calculate. That company is nice. If you get a company declaring this, the produce 19.65 equals now. So that is how we calculate the basic EPS. Now we are going to a new stuff, which is diluted EPS. So let's go to Roman 2. So Roman number 2 is diluted EPS. So nitapunguza speed because that is new to us. That is new to us. That is new to us. So I'll reduce the speed. So step one, basic EPS, we have done. Step number 2, identify potential ordinary shares. Identify the potential ordinary shares. Can you list for me the potential you have seen in this question? Just list. It is our part of the concern. There is no big issue. We are learning in the process. So which are the potentials we have in this question? There are potentials. Potentials, list them as you see them in the question. Mercy has seen only 2, options and convertible loan notes. So Mercy has only seen 2. Anyone else? One more, then I check. One more person. Rose, 10% convertible loan notes. So Susan and Rose has given me the loan notes. Yeah, so maybe naongeza hiyo nyingine. So there are only 2. I was waiting for someone to bring those preference here. The preference will not get its way here. Yes, an option. Preference, they just said cumulative. Na hapo ndio walikuwa wanataka kutushikia. Unless it has a prefix. It has a prefix convertible. That is when it is potential. It can be potential if it is not convertible. Zingine tu ni loan la kawaida tutalipa na story issue. So this one is out. The ones which are potential is the 10%. 12% convertible loan notes. So let's highlight them. And I will wish we highlight them based on how they are appearing in the question. So the first one is 12% convertible loan notes. 12% convertible loan notes. Then the last one was options. So those are the 2 we have. Options don't make the word convertible. They are convertible because Umeambia employees nyinyi fanyeni kazi mtakuwa kwenye hii kampuni. So there hakuna mtu ana control mwingine kwa ofisi. I'm soon becoming a shareholder. So I want us now, what happens in step 3, once you have identified them, check their impact on EPS, their impact. What will be the effect? You know, right now, none of them, the loan notes, they never converted. Options, nobody has taken up. But now, you are a potential investor. You want the broker, actually broker, hata kulikuwa na finance bill ingine, si hii yenye mmepiga makelele mingi. Kulikuwa another finance bill, I can't remember when exactly, but around 2017, 18, 19, where they said all stock brokers must have done. You need security, the name is still the same. Is this the name still the same for this unit? I think the name changed. Kulikuwa na hiyo finance bill waliweka that all brokers must be SIPA certified. Sijui kama walienda wakafanya hiyo kitu. Because this is the work. Now what we are going to do here is the work of the broker. You tell the broker to work for you on what if analysis. What if this 12 convertible wamekuja? Right now, unatuambia umereport 19.65. What if these two people joins? Mimi sahi nimeingia nikifurahia EPS for every share I have, I'm entitled to 19.65. What if these people joins? What will be the effect on EPS? Ati hapana hawajakuja? No, I'm coming. I want to invest. If I invest, finally they will have to come and they will find me there. What will be the ultimate effect of the final EPS? So we are going to calculate on assumption that what if they come. So in your step 3, we need to check the impact of converting this convertible into ordinary. So that's what we call ranking. So I'm starting straight away. So in step 3, start with 12% convertible loan notes. Start with these people. We want to see their impact on EPS. This EPS, what will be their impact, so that we make quick decisions there. We make quick decision. So when they come, 2 things. You assess their impact on the ordinary shares and their impact on the company's profits. Those 2. Because earnings per share is based on profit and shares, ones. So you check for every convertible, you check impact on shares, you check impact on the earnings. Then you are good to go. So let's start with what we call, let's start with the earnings. So we start by saying, if they come, we have these 2 words. Tell me the one you want me to use, and I'll use throughout. We can say incremental earnings, or I can use the word additional earnings. When they come, what top up do they bring to the earnings? So which grammar do you want us to use? Incremental earnings or additional earnings? The one you say is the one I'm going to use. Which one is easier to remember? Me, I want things which are easy to remember. Which one do you want? Additional earnings. So when they come, tell me the additional earnings. Additional earnings. So I was saying to be your incremental. What wamesema hii additional inawafurahisha. No problem. So what will be the additional earnings when you convert loan notes? Listen and listen carefully. Before conversion, loan note holders are always paid interest. They always get interest every year. Immediately you convert them, they will cease from getting the interest. So the interest which we have been paying them, they will stop. They will stop receiving the interest. And that is what we are going to save. So the additional earnings or the incremental earnings, when dealing with the debts, debts, any form of debts, you check the interest. You check how much have we been paying them. When they convert, they will become ordinary. So they will stop. They will no longer get the interest. So that interest you are saving is what I'm calling the additional. So for debts, whether it is bonds, debentures, whatever, you check interest. So you will say this, they were getting interest at the rate of 12%, and the total value as per the capital structure was 50. So 12% times 50. 12% times 50. And they were given Kitambo, 2018. So you see 2018, it means when we were starting 2020, they were there. So you take them for the whole year. Times 0.7. So this 0.7 is what I'm afraid some students normally forget. And I will pray the day before exam that you don't forget about the 0.7. Read the last notes, the last additional information. The examiner said the corporate tax rate is 30%. You can confirm with me, those who had already done FM and those who are doing FM right now, interest, we normally take, can you confirm if this is true? Because you know the earnings is profit after tax. Interest, we don't want that. Is this what we normally do for interest? What do I find? Yes. So for interest, when it comes to taxation, interest we take 1 minus the T. The reason we normally take net of pre-tax. You know, interest comes before taxation. Google too. In a profit before interest and tax. And the earnings and the question here is profit after. So we must go pre-tax. So you take 1 minus T, which is 1 minus 30%, you get 70. So kindly for interest, don't forget about this taxation. Meanwhile, give me this figure. Give me that figure. Mercy 4200. So when these people come, when you join the company, earnings of the company will increase by 4200. This is what they are being paid, so we can sell. We are going to sell that 42. Additional shares. Additional shares. Additional shares. So let's assess the shares. Shares, what was the policy? Check the policy note 3 there. If you want to convert, the convertible loan notes were issued fine. 10 convertible loan notes are convertible into 1 new ordinary share. So if you convert, you will get 1 new ordinary share for every 10. For every 10 of the loan notes. Then you ask yourself, how many loan notes are we having? We are having 50,000 divided by 10, which is 5. I hope everyone sees that. I hope everyone sees that. The 12% convertible loan notes, shillings 10 each. So you get 50 divided by 10, which is 5. Then the policy, they said you get for every 10 convertible loan, not shillings 10, 10 convertible loan notes, you get 1 new ordinary. So you get 1 new ordinary for every 10 of the loan notes. No shillings 10. Coming across shillings, then I multiply here by 50,000. But for every 10 loan notes. So I have to divide that together. So this is 500. Therefore, earnings per share. So you take this divided by this will be 42 divided by 500. How much do you get? What are you getting? you get 8.4. So just have that 8.4. Don't interfere with it. Just leave it there. I will tell you what to do with it later as we progress. So let's go to the next security, options. Let's go to options. Let's go to options. The same thing you have done to this, additional, is what you do to the options as well. So you start additional earnings. Additional earnings. For options, additional earnings, 0. Not only for this question, but any other question you will get for diluted EPS tomorrow and in exam. For options, please always bring 0. Hakunanga incremental. There is no additional earnings, which I can explain. You know, options is privilege to employees. So employees, what is always their impact on the profit account? The impact is that we pay them salaries. So we normally reduce profit with the salaries. The way this one, we reduce profit with the interest. So for employees, we reduce it with the salaries. You cannot tell us, until now you will give us shares, then we stop receiving salaries. Si ukae na hizo shares, mimi nilipe mshahara, nitafute kwenye nitaenda kuinvest. So even if it will not be called salaries, but it will be something like director's fees or something. So the impact is always said to be nothing. There is no impact. When you give employees share, ile mnaitanga ESOPs. ESOPs na employee share option scheme, hizo vitu. There is no change. Incremental earnings or additional earnings always capture 0. Hiyo inakuwa tip ya kila mtu mwenye alikuja class. Wewe ukifika hapo andika 0. Don't even think of the reason, but the reason is there will be no alteration to the benefits which goes to employees. If they stop getting that, then they will be directors. You know, kama ni shareholders, unajua kama watakuwa shareholders, watapewa dividend. Dividend sometimes you will forgo. So you have to check the impact. But here, kuna additional share. Additional shares. So, this is the first question for options. I want you to understand it. And if you get this, all the options are the same in exam. Zote. The other day, exercise, and it's done the same way. So I want you to get, there's like a small concept behind it, which I would want you to understand. Check note 4. Check note 4. On 1st October, the employees of the company were granted share options to purchase 1 million ordinary shares at shillings 30. They were told to buy at 30. The average market price was shillings 48 per share. So this 1 million ordinary shares in the market, the average market price was 48. They were equated to 48, but they are being told to buy at shillings 30. So it means they're being enticed. They're being enticed. That's why they're being given at a lower price. So the amount we check, the incremental or the additional, you don't check the 30, you check the 18. Unajua wanapunguziwa. 18 is 48 minus 30. Wanapunguziwa ndio wanunue mingi. Because you see the market price, the average market price is 48. It means these options are valued at 48 in the market. But these people are being told to buy at 30. So the incremental or the additional, we normally check the difference. They are being, usiangalie the loss, they are being enticed to take more shares. So the incremental is the difference between the market price and the proposed exercise price, which is 48 minus 30. So you check on this 18, kindly. So inakuwa hivi, it will be 1 million times 48 minus 30 divided by 48. That is simply 18 18 over 48, because you are supposed to take this times this divided by 48. So you take 48 minus 30 to get that incremental, but as a fraction of the market price. But they were given in October. So this is the only concept I want you to understand. If you get this, all the options are the same. They were given in October. So you weigh them in October, November, December, 3 months. So times 3 over 12. So multiply everything, then tell me the answer. $93.75. For earnings per share, check 0, 0, divide by this. You will get 0. Options kila siku utakuwa unapatanga hiyo 0. Then now, you do what is called ranking. Ranking. You rank them. The one which has the least effect. So tunasema kama the owners of the company, we want to start calling these people to come. The one with the least effect, is assumed to be called first in that order. Uwezi waleta wote pamoja, wenye wako na impact kidogo kwa kampuni, nyinyi mkuje. So the one with the least effect, this 8.4 is high. So this one is ranked first. So this one takes position 1. This one is ranked second. They take position 2. So you will call them based on their ranks. You call them based on their ranks. So this one will be called first, then we will call these ones in the second round. So finally, let's go calculate diluted. Is it diluted? Now let's calculate diluted based on these ranks. So final stage. So final stage is the DPS computation now. DPS. Rows on the ranking, the one with the least, after you have divided earnings per share, the one with the least is assumed to have little effect on our earnings. So they take position 1. The one which has more impact is based on this one here. The earnings per every share. The additional earnings per every additional share. This one here. So 8.4 is greater than 0. So 0 is assumed to have little effect on the company. So these are the first to be called. Then we go to this in that order. If in that order. But in every question where options are there, options will always take position 1 in that order. Same, you meet the workings we did. Now is not marked before diluted. No, kuna kama kidogo hapa kama moja. There's like 1 mark. You utatoka bure hapo. So Rose, I hope you have understood as well. The one with the least takes position 1. These positions are going to help us to calculate the diluted EPS. So maybe after, yes, okay. So check how this goes. You come here and say potential ordinary. Then you say here earnings. You say here shares. Then you say here DPS. So that is where we are going to calculate the diluted earnings per share. That is where we are going to calculate diluted. So have that arrangement. Have that arrangement. Sawa? So what do you want to dilute? You want to dilute the basic. So you start by saying from BPS. BPS, I can only remember the answer. The earnings per share was 19.65. What was the numerator? Which was the earnings, the profits? What was your pause? Remind me. 16 number 14. What 200? 116, 7, 200. Would tell me that figure. What was the pause? 167, 200. What was the one-offs? One-offs is the shares. One-offs ilikuja ngapi? What was our one-offs? 85.10. So basic was this divided by this, and we got earnings of this one here. Then these people gave securities to the markets. They gave this one, they gave this one. So based on the ranks, the ones to be called first is options. So bring options. Options will join first based on the ranks. When options join, earnings of the company will go up by 0. There will be no increase. So earnings 0. So it means after employees of Mekuja options have been exercised, earnings of the company will remain constant. Earnings will be assumed to remain constant. Earnings of the company will be assumed to remain constant. Shares will go up by 93.75. 93.75. So can you add? Add for me the two. Add the two. $86.03.75. So employees of Mekuja sasa wako na wao ni serious shareholders watakusumbua. So once they join, usifikirie ati wanajoin leo alafu options wanajoin jioni. It can even take 5 years before wakuje. So once employees wamekuja, you need to calculate the new EPS. So take 167,200 divided by the new 8603.75 so that you get the new earnings per share. So the new earnings per share, will be how much? 19.43. Your dilution imeanza. Dilution has started. It has started dropping from 0.65 to 0.43. It has started going down. I assume these people are coming. How am I assuming wakiwa na dilution? 12% convertible loan notes. When they come, earnings of the company will increase by 42. Shares will increase by 5. So you add this plus this, we get 171,400. This one will give us 0.753019. Confirm at your own risk. If they are okay, then you take this, divide by this, you give me the new, this one define one, right? You give me the new EPS. If the figures are okay, then divide and give me the new EPS. Eighteen point 18.83. Therefore, diluted earnings per share is shillings 18.83 per share. Not the last, but the least. Your sentence is serious. Not the last, but the least. You can find the least being in between here. So you don't say that the last one is the diluted, the least. So diluted is the least, not the last. Take note. Take note of that. So what does this mean? It means huyo broker sasa anakuambia ukikuja the worst of the, nimesikia sasa tunasukuma vitu kutoka worst ikienda worst. So the worst case scenario 18.83. Na imagine sasa hizo kulikuwa na kampuni nyingine walikuwa na report 18.9 na ulikuwa unataka kuacha na wana securities. Hii ukikuja juu umekuwa impressed na 19 watashuka mpaka 18.83. So I rather stay there kwenye kutakuwa na decrease. So this is the worst case scenario on the assumption that these people will join. If they join, that is what will happen. The class will end at 9:30 in the next 14 minutes. Those 14 minutes I can use it to do something. May 2019. Unless mtu ako na swali. May 2019. May 2019, question number 4B. Check that question. I don't know which page. Just check that question. May 2019, question 4B. This is serious. This is serious. Which page is that? Page 72, Elijah. Page number 72. Question 4B. Page 72. 72, 73, yes. There we go. Tewa Limited has provided the following extract from its income statement for the year ended 31st December 2017 and 2018. 2017-18, profit before tax, income tax, profit after tax, sour. So profit after tax has been given. Then capital structure, ordinary shares, 8% redeemable. So unaona hiyo mambo ya redeemable imekuja hapa. 8% redeemable preference, 10% convertible preference, then 10% convertible loan stock. Hata kuna haja ya kujisumbua kwenda mbali. Let's get pause straight from there. So let's get pause. Let's get pause. 2017, 2018. So reported profit after tax. Reported profit after tax 450, 650. Less preference dividends. So preference dividends, we take the one which is 10%. Redeemable, dividends to redeemable unit finance cost. That is what I told you. So you don't subtract dividends on redeemable, never. So this one, you take 10% of 500. 10% of 500 will give you 50. 50. So the profit to ordinary will be 400, will be 600. Have that. Irredeemable ingekuja hapa masi, irredeemable ingekuja hapa. Irredeemable are more or less of wow. So we only bring irredeemable. Like this one I've used is irredeemable. I said when it is not, if they don't mention what kind of preference, we assume they are irredeemable. Problem is, you know, redeemable is a loan. That's the concept I want you to get. To redeem means, ukienda pale supermarket, I want to redeem my points. You get back. So redeemable is loan. And whatever compensation we are giving loan holders, the interest, which is finance cost. So redeemable, whatever we pay redeemable, hiyo ni finance cost. We don't bring it as dividends. So wasikuchallenge hapo, welcome to Alliance. So let's go to the notes. And notes, I'm going to be very keen. You have understood, correct? I have 2017, 2018. So of course, najua, when usoma required, now I want to show you how these things are done in exam. Soma required. Required one, the basic earnings per share for 2017, 2018. Already I have files for 2017. One-os is year-based. So, tupange hiyo story ya one-os vizuri. Tukisoma tunapost. Hakuna ile tusome number 1 mpaka last. Then we have done nothing. Where are they hapa one? for one-offs. In exam, that is the good approach. You just mismatch. So you say dates, details, shares, weights, one-offs. Now, by the way, it's not a must. It is not a must that hizi vitu zinapangwa hivi. Hapana, unaweza panga venye wewe unajisikia. Wewe panga venye unataka. Haya, off we go. You check beginning of the year. This year is ending on 31st December. So it must start on 1st January 2017. Then you start with the capital structure. Start with capital structure, ladies and gentlemen. Capital structure 2017. Begin. 2017 ordinary shares, you are seeing shillings 2,000 million with a par value of 100. So it is 2,000 divided by 100, which is 20. So details, balance brought down, shares is 20. I hope everyone sees the 20. Please, if you don't see, allow me to know. 12 over 12, this is 20. Then I want us to go to the additional information. Tunafanya mpaka tumalize 2017, we stop there. So go to note 1. Go to note 1. Part of the increase in share capital ordinary was due to a rights issue. That was only rights issue lazima tufuate kila siku. Was made on 1st April 2018. Hiyo ni 2018. Mambo ya 2017 imeishia hapa. 2017 ends there. Hawakusonga. They were constant mpaka next year. Therefore, basic EPS 2017 is equals to 400 divided by 20, which is shillings 20 per share. Hiyo tumemaliza unless uko na swali. What other question? No question. No question. So now, wacha nifike hata kama na 34. My intention nataka tumalize basic. Ndio kesho tuanze diluted. So kama it is 27, so 3 minutes to time, labda tuende mpaka 9:34 hapo. Hiyo itakuwa sawa. So let's go to 2018. Let's go to 2018. For one-offs 2018. 2018 dates, details, shares, weights, one-offs. Well, ushike hiyo flow vizuri. You are ready? Balance brought down on 1st January 2018. The shares we closed with, that tulifunga nazo last year. The what? The 2 divided by the 20. They were 20, 12, 20. So those are the opening. Open with them. Then I have a concern. I don't know whether it was intentional or it was just an oversight from the examiner. In this sitting, kuna kitu examiner alifanya which was unusual. In note 1 and note 2, unajua ideally zinafaa ziendange dates zinafaa ziende zikisonga hivyo, but there was a disconnect in note 1 and note 2. Let's check and see. The rights issue took place on 1st April 2018 in note 1. Then in note 2, the convertible loan stock was issued on 1st July 2017, that is last year. Each shillings 1,000 of the loan stock is convertible to 25 ordinary shares. Holders of 300 million worth of convertible loan stock exercised their rights on 1st January 2018. Somebody to tell Abdi where 20 is coming from. So you see, note 1 is contradicting note 2 is contradicting note 1. Our agenda waki, unajua inaendanga if the dates should go like this. But here, rights issue in note 1, rights issue 1st April. Then note 2, conversion January. So January must come before April. There was a small disconnect there. Well, someone to tell Abdi is asking why you're getting this 20. Kindly tell Abdi that one, chop, as we move. So Abdi ameona, no problem. So I was saying, umeona kitu nimesema. There was a mistake. You come a mistake, intentional, or he knew what the examiner knew what he was doing. In note 1, rights issue 1st April. Note 2, conversion 1st January. January must come before April. So ideally, in the questions, inafaa iende note 1 should have a date before note hiyo. Inafaa iende hivyo. So I will just go as per how it should be. So it should be 1st January 2018. I cannot go to April before January. That one will be wrong. So in note 2, there was conversion. Conversion of loan stock. Conversion of loan stock. So let's see what happened. They said in note 2 that the loan stock was issued in 2017. That one has no problem. Each shilling 1,000 of the loan stock is converted to 25 ordinary. So you get, check here, you get 25 ordinary for every shillings 1,000 of the loan stock. That is the policy. If you want to convert, you will get 25 for every 1,000. How much was converted? They converted shillings 300. If you check that note, shillings 300 million worth of the convertible loan stock were exercised their rights on 1st January. So that is it. So tell me how many shares we got. They said you get 25 for every 1,000. Then they converted 300. Was it convert 1,000 into 3 million? Sapana. Don't convert this one to million. This is a ratio. 25 for every 1,000. This one is already million, so don't convert this one here. So people are saying 7.5. Alright, the year, this was 1st January. Mwaka yote, 24/12, 7.5. Then we go back now to note 1, rights issue. The space I will require for rights issue This one can't be enough. You will allow me to go up there. So rights issue. Rights issue. They said they are giving rights on what basis? Oh, sorry, I've not written the date. Where are your date? The date is 1st April. 1st April 2018. 1st April 2018. Rights issue. On what basis? 1 new ordinary share for every 5. So you get 1 for 5. How many are we having? Let me check from you. How many shares do we have as we speak today in April? We are in April. How many shares do we have? Irene, we have 27.5. I agree. 20 plus this. So we have 27.5. So 27.5. How many shares are you getting? Usilete hapa kwa shares, just somewhere before this line. 27.5 divided by 5. What do you get? We are almost there. You get 27.5 divided by 5. 5.5. So you get 5.5. Don't take it in this column. Now, at market price, no, before doing the market price, can you calculate for me? Use note 1 to get X rights. I want the X rights price. X rights. Use note 1 to get me X rights. I will be very happy. Can you calculate X rights using note 1? Lucy, 124.17. Marcy, 124.17. One more. One more. 2 people getting the same. So one more answer there. Susan? Sorry, 124.17. The number must be the answer. So you are to get 1 new at what price? 1 new at 120. That is 120. Then for every 5 held, 5 held at 5 held at what price? Well, nimeandika vitu mzuri kweli. Yes, 5 at 125. That should be 625. 575. 125 by 5, it is 575 or no? 625. It should be 625, yes. So add, this is 6, this is 745. So 745 divided by 6. Is that the one giving you 124 points? You got 124 point what? 124.17? Yes, from 124.17. Correct. So you come here and say, at market price, you will take 5.5 times, they were told to exercise at 120 over the average, which is 124.17. Tell me what you are getting. Tell me what you are getting to that effect. Actually, hakuna kitu ingine after that. That's the last one. Then you get EPS. What do you get? People are getting 5.32, 5.32, or 5.3. Let's say 5.3. Then bonus will be 5.5 minus 5.3. So that will be 0.2. So those ones you don't weigh, you take them to the far end. But 5.3, you weigh from 1st April to the end of the year. 1st April to the end of the year will be how many months? 1st of April to year end will be, how many months are those? 9. Yes, those are 9 months. So 9 over 12. 5.3 by 9 over 12. 5.3 by 9 over 12. 3.986. How will we round off that one? How can we round off that one? People who are good in rounding off. How can we round off that? Let's round it to 4. It will just give you the same answer. Let's say 4. Then I'm at 3.98. Answer it will the same. Let's go to note 3. Chap. Let's go to note 3. The convertible preference shares were issued in 2015. One convertible preference share is entitled to one new ordinary share. Entitled, hakuna mtu tumeambiwa convert, ignore. Note 4, meanwhile, on 1st April, the company granted its employees the options to buy 4 million ordinary shares at a strike price of 120. No employee had exercised their rights by 31st December 2018. The average market price during the year was 125, tax 30, question. So the last 2, nobody exercised. So we just add. So add for me Wanos. Can you add for me Wanos? Yone kumaliza tumaliza. Wanos is 31.7. 31.7. 31.7. Therefore, basic EPS will be 600, this one here, divided by 31.7. What do you get? Shillings what per share? $18.93 there. 18.93 per share. Correct. That is it. Last year EPS ilikuwa ngapi? Last year's EPS, what was EPS last year? There's something I want to do, though it is not requested. What was last year's EPS? I want to do something for formality. It was 20. So in case the examiner told you to restate EPS, just write it, let's do it for formality. I'm not going to dilution. So restated, if you were to restate EPS, you will take EPS 2017, you multiply with X rights over CAM rights. Because this was a rights issue. This was a rights issue, just in case. So last year it was 20. X right, we got 124.17. Then come right was 125. Whichever answer you get, that is the restated earnings per share. So in case you are told to restate whenever we have rights issue, that is what you are supposed to do. So tomorrow, we shall go to the diluted earnings per share. The one diluted earnings per share 2017, 2018. So we'll have two dilutions. So thank you. Let's end our class there. Then we meet tomorrow for the dilution part. Otherwise, have a good night. Mercy, which theory? Which theory, Mercy? Okay. Before you log out, Mercy is saying theory FRA yote. Can somebody answer that question? Why Mercy? Huh? Ndio hiyo umeambiwa na Mercy mwingine. Check group, theory zote nimewapatia Mercy. Zote, hakuna theory sijawapea. Ziko hapo. The handout, hakuna kitu iko kwa hiyo handout. All the theories are there. Just check. Thank you. Good night.